Hola, bonjour, buenas noches, guten tag, and hello, I am DJ HH. So I've got a bit of a cold today. The upside of that is that my voice is hopefully a little bit lower than it usually is because I know I've got a very high-pitched voice. Might be a bit nasally, but I will do my best to struggle through to show you this next part of the basics of producing happy hardcore. So this is where we got to last time. And we're going to continue from there and bring some actual stabs and bass and music into the beats. So let's do it. Okay, so here's where we are. We've got this 32 bar intro. It goes like that. What I'm going to do is extend these claps. It's on a loop, so I can do that. The breakbeat is a loop, so I can do that. I can take the kick drums from there, paste, and then is it a loop? Ooh. It's not a loop, so I was going to duplicate that for now. Duplicate. And okay, so we've basically got an extended version of what we created in the last lesson. If you don't know where you are here, go back and have a look at the previous lessons. Right, okay, so this transition here sounds like this. I want a crash there, because you've got to have a crash there. And you can see I've created a little drum roll there. I don't know if I put this in the last lesson. Let me just zoom out, and there we go. So in between the last lesson and now, I just did this. You see this here? I just wanted a little, so it was a tiny little thing that I did. Little roll, it was there. So I am just going to increase the gain on. Ooh, God, I've selected everything there. That's not right, so I'm going to undo. Right, I selected too many things there. All I want to do is just increase the gain on that. It's just too quiet. So that one there, let's just have a listen. I could actually start going do, 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 and building it up there, but we're not going to do that for now. What I need to do is work out how we're going to do that little build up. So I'm going to go to our sample pack. So we've got this sample pack here and we've got some FX. Let's just have a listen to these FX. Ooh, lovely. You've got all sorts there, so yeah. Right. I want some kind of effects, either a riser that goes whoop or a drop that goes whoop between there and there. So let's just. Tell you what, let's have a go with that. So what I'm going to do, it's an audio sample, so insert audio track. I'm going to drag that over to there. And with this one, we've looked at these beats and things before. I'm going to put it on complex because it's not a beat, it's quite a complex sound. So let's just have a quick listen to what it sounds like now. Ooh, very nice. So what you can do here, it's already warped it because that's what Ableton does. We can actually make that longer. So instead of just going there, we can make it go and build up. So we can double the length of it. So if I press ×2 there, that actually makes it a little bit longer. So let's just see whether that's better or not. So we've got that little riser coming in there, and what we're going to do then is that is going to be our prompt for some stabby bassiness. So we've used audio all the way so far. On this one, we're going to insert a MIDI track. So we installed Rave Generator in our previous video. Since then, we've also got this one from Rewired Records. It's ROM 3. Have a look at Rewired Records because they provide loads of fantastic VSTs, plugins, courses, all sorts, sample packs. We've got this one here, and we might actually have a look at that, but I'm going to go to Rave Generator just because that's what I'm familiar with. So I'm going to drag that in. So we've got to insert MIDI track, and then if I click this, that little thing there is going to arm it, which means we've selected that as the thing that we're working with. If I double click Rave Generator there, it should put that with that, so it's lined that up together. Now my default would be to have my MIDI keyboard here and to start playing along, but there's a little keyboard there, and what we're going to do is this. If we highlight 4 bars of music, in fact I'm going to do let's do 4. Highlight that. So get your mouse, go like that, right click, and then click Insert Empty MIDI clip. What that has done is given us a piano roll here. I've worked with people who can do phenomenal things just by typing into this piano roll. It's not really how I work. I prefer to use a MIDI keyboard, but I'll do that afterwards. For now, I'm just going to use the piano roll because I think that's where many of you are going to start with. So this piano roll here, this little MIDI thing, is like a little keyboard. And every time we do that, that's going to put a note in. So well, I've just got an arrow here. So if I press B on my keyboard, it's going to change it to a pencil. So I can draw in all sorts of stuff there. And all that is telling Rave Generator or whatever VST, play the sound that you have there at this note. So that's E3, F3, F sharp 3, and it's the same note but the sound is different. So for example, we could say we want the guitar to go bong, or we want a piano to go bong. It's all going to be the same note with a different sound. So I'm literally drawing in random rubbish here. So you can see there, when that starts, it's going to go like this. Woo, we got some music in there. So let's just solo this. So this is the only thing that you can hear. And because that's what I've drawn in. And what it's doing is it's playing those notes, but the sound that it's playing is the default, which is Landlord Stab. So if we change that to this one, it's going to play the same notes, but with a different noise. Okay, and let's take that off. You can actually, if I did that, it would duplicate them, but let's do them individually. Let's do this one. And see what it sounds like. Woo! So you can see it's very ravey. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to here. I'm going to press B on my keyboard again. Get rid of that. I'm going to highlight all this. I'm going to delete it because it's just random rubbish that I've drawn in. So when this comes in, it's going to go solo. Right, so we've got our lovely little piano thing here. Let's see what we can do here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press B, and if you listen to how it sounds, 1, 2, 3, what we want is on the offbeat to have a nice little stabby sound. It's actually done 2 there, I don't want to, so I need to get rid of that. So we can click it again, I'll get rid of it, and we do that. All you need to do is toggle B. B is your pencil there, and if you do it again, it gives you the arrow. You can select it and get rid of it. So let's just, there we go. So what we want is on the offbeat, we want a nice ravey sound. So that is the pattern. The pattern is the offbeat, which is going bum, 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 bum. So the beat's going bum, and on the offbeat, the stab's going poof. So it sounds like this. Let me just loop it, see if I can get it looping so we can hear it a bit better. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to press loop selection, and we can hear it go. Okay, so we can make these longer or shorter. Basically, just play around with it and see what sounds good. So I'm just going to put the headphones on so I can hear properly. So let's have a listen. So you can hear there, if I make it longer or shorter, it sounds better or worse. Now they don't have to be the same. You can actually have some longer, some shorter. So it's basically listening and working out what you think sounds good, and what sounds good to you, what sounds good to me is going to be totally different. So let's have a little listen. Zoom in. So for me that's too long. I'm going to shorten it a little bit. Okay, so we've got like a ravey sound, but that was just the first thing that I came across, which was, if I click on here, it takes me back to Rave Generator. I click this little tool button here, brings it back up, and I can choose the sound. So let's play around with different sounds. At the moment we've got this one here. At the moment, it's just going bum, bum, bum. I think we need a da 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 da. So we're going to do that. So let's have a go. So you can hear that it's going da da da. We can actually change the notes. So that's all the same note, just a slightly different pattern. Instead of going bum 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 bum, it's going ba da bum 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 bum. This is what it sounds like on its own. And this is what it sounds like in the context of the tune we've done so far. Do you know what? I feel like we're making the Slipknot remix of Take Me Away here. But yeah, we're making happy hardcore. Here we go. Tell you what, let's listen to the back end of the tune, what we've done so far. So what I think it needs is some sub bass. Now there are loads of different ways to do it. This is what I'm going to do. What we're going to do is we are going to drag into here one of the Ableton built-in instruments, which is called Simpler. So it should be, is it there? No, that's sampler. Sampling. There we go, simpler. So you've got sampler and simpler. Go for simpler. Double click simpler. Oh shit, that's that's changed the rave generator because that was the one on there. So I'm going to edit, undo, keep that as rave generator. What I'm going to do is drag simpler to a new channel there. Right, so there's a sampler in there and it's called simpler. What we are then going to do is go back to our sample pack and choose whichever sub bass you want. I quite like that, so I'm going to go with number 7 and I'm going to drag it down to here. So that's in there. What we can then do is, if we want to, we can either, what I would normally do is have my MIDI keyboard again and play along and just see what works. But what we can do is, these are the MIDI clips that tell what's on this side what note to play. So if we drag it and duplicate it down there, what I'm going to do to make sure that we know the difference. So we've got rave generator there in purple, and we have the sampler, which is called simpler here. I'm going to make that yellow. So we have a copy of the notes there, but what it's going to be playing is the sample that we've loaded into this sampler here. Let's just have a listen on its own. Okay, so all it's doing is a copy of this. And again, it's on the offbeat. So let's have a listen to it all together and just see what it sounds like. Sounds awful, don't like it. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Let's consolidate that, and we can loop that. And let's just listen to a little bit of it and work out how we can make it sound nice. Okay, so what I did there was I pressed Shift and up, and it took it from that note on the keyboard to that note on the keyboard. It just took it an octave up. So instead of being C3, it was C4. So I'm just going to show you the difference. So you can have whatever sounds right to you. In fact, one of the things that I do sometimes is I use a bass sample like this and put it up in the octave and actually use it to play a melody. So it would be like this. So you can actually, if you've got a keyboard or you just drag it around, you can actually play a nice melody with that. So I'm going to put it down to, I think. Okay, so I'm going to have a little bit of a play around and see what I think sounds okay. I don't really like any of that, so I'm going to keep the note on C4, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap the sample and see if that makes any difference. So let's play it, and what I'm going to do is drag different samples into this sampler and see if it sounds any better. Now I prefer that. Okay, so what does it sound like on its own? It sounds like this. Yeah. Okay, so this is the point where the creativity comes into it, because what sounds good to me sounds good to you, will be two different things, and I hear things and one person will say, oh my god, have you heard this tune? And I listen to it and I go, I don't like it. But this is where it will entirely come down to your creativity. I've given you, I think, 10 different samples there. You've got all sorts of stuff. Play around with it. Different points of the keyboard. Here you've got the release, the volume, the attack, the decay. So let me just solo this and let you show it. Resonance. What you can also do is, that's the whole sample, we can make it just start from there and finish there. Just play around with this and see what sounds good to you. It's all about what sounds right to you. It's, you know, people make tech house, I don't like it, they love it. It's not right or wrong. Go with what sounds right to you. So I'm just going to have a little bit of a play around. Full disclosure, I don't actually make tunes like this. I think most people, from what I can gather, start off making a tune from start to finish. What I do is I go and find I play the piano, or I find an a cappella or something like that, and that comes first. The main bit of the tune always comes first, then I work backwards. This, I'm starting from the beginning and working upwards, so it's a bit sort of backwards to me. I'm thinking here, maybe actually it might sound better a bit higher. So that actually sounds better to me. So what I'm going to do is change it to D sharp, highlight the bass and change that to the same so it matches. Okay, I think that's better for now, but all these things, it's an evolution. The song will evolve as you go along, especially when you're starting from nothing like this and you're not going from some piano or an a cappella. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to duplicate Rave Generator. I am going to duplicate it. I'm going to make it a different colour so I know what I'm doing. Let's go blue. So I've got two instances of the same sound on Rave Generator there. I've got the purple one there and the blue one there. Both the same sound, both the same notes, but one's an octave lower and it sounds like this. There we go. So that's a bit more of a full sound now. So what we've got is this one that we had originally. But I've duplicated it and I've done an octave lower and not quite as loud. It sounds like this. Ooh, lovely. I wish I had the keyboard here. Right, okay, so put those together. So you've got this one. The other one is that. Those together sound like this. You've got the high end, the low end, same sound, and we go. Take it all off. And you've also got the bass, which is there, and the bass sounds like this. Put it all together, and it goes. Do 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 do. It's like Funky Sensation or Slipknot remix of Take Me Away. So we've got kind of a 95 style happy hardcore thing going here. So let me duplicate that. And duplicate that. And let's just have a listen. I think this might be quite a nice little tune. So that's where we are so far. So the build-up was 32 bars. We're going to make this 32 bars as well. So hang on, I'm just going to delete, and I'm actually going to make this, I'm going to consolidate, and I'm going to make it a loop. So it's just easier to just go all the way along. Press loop. There we go, all the way along. Same with this one, I think that's already looped. So we've got that going all the way along. What we don't have is the beats, but we're going to put the beats all the way along just in case we need them. We might not need them. We might decide we're going to take them in and out, it doesn't matter. But let's just do that because it's giving us a bit of like a marker so we can see. So we've got a crash there. We've got a crash there, we've got a crash there, crash there, crash there. And definitely a crash, because this is where the magic's going to happen. See, when I say that, when I Rampage, everyone likes the stabs. For me, it's all about the piano. For me, this is all incidental for me. This is where the magic happens. But a lot of people, if you like your stabs and things, this is like the key bit. So we're going to have a quick listen. It goes. So for me, we've got those 4 bars there, those 4 bars there, and I think that is building up to a stabby section on its own, like so. Sometimes the stabs in a tune will come in like, and the breakdown at halfway. Sometimes they'll come in before the actual main bit of the tune. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do another one of those build-ups. And here, we're going to have a really cool stabby section. I think hopefully you can see where this is going. So there, and then we're going to go stab central. Let me zoom out. Now we can do what we want here, but I want it to go, not crackers, but we could have it, I mean, this is quite nice. Right, okay, so let's deal with this bit first. So what I'm doing here is I'm cutting and changing, I'm just cutting a little bit out of it. So it goes. So remember, we've got these two instances of Rave Generator, the same sound. We can have different sounds, we can do whatever, but we've got the same sound, but one is higher up the keyboard on a different octave. What I am going to do is just, here's a good thing, if you highlight something and press 0 on the keyboard, it just mutes it, so you don't have to delete it, but it just mutes it. Woohoo! So this is where the musical choices, artistic choices come in. When it breaks down, do we want it to go, or do we want it to go, doesn't matter. We might want it to do something completely different, but we are going to decide what we want to do. So what I would like to do is just change that to a different color so that I know what I'm working with. I'm going to consolidate it again just so that I know where I am. Right, so with this, these are on the offbeats, but when it comes into the breakdown, I don't want it on the offbeat, I don't think. I actually want it on the beat, so I'm going to do that. So if you have a MIDI keyboard, you can play it out and decide what you want. If not, then you're on the piano roll. Oh God, what have I done? Edit, undo, move notes. Get rid of that one. So you can hear where it's going, basically playing around and seeing what I think sounds okay, and I say it all the time, you do what sounds good to you. But I'm just messing about. I sometimes spend hours doing this and never use it. I think, no, I don't like it. And I did that with Rampage. That was like 2 years of a tune that I just didn't really like, and then when I put it out, and everybody prefers that to the A side, which is crazy. But just do what makes you happy. At this stage, it's more about learning. You're experimenting, working out how the software works. So don't worry about any of that stuff. So let's have a listen. Here's where we are. We've just done this little funny tune. Let's get rid of that, delete that, duplicate it. Remember, we had a different instance, but it was lower on the octave, and that's on the same octave, but we're going to need to change that. So just give a sec. So we've got that. Let's select them both, duplicate them both. So we've got that one there, that one on the lower octave, and we haven't got any bass in. We may bring some bass in if we want. So let's just, in fact, I've deleted it, but I've duplicated it. Let's just delete it. Let's consolidate, as always, consolidate, and then let's make it into a loop. So we loop that, and then bring that like this. Do that, loop that. So we might not end up using these, but it doesn't matter. It's all about learning how to put a song together and working out what you like and what you don't like. So it goes like this. So I would never use that. I don't like it. I think it's crap, but it's okay for this tutorial. So there's no bass. Ooh. I actually think it sounds a lot better with that bass in. What I'm thinking is I'm wondering whether a duplicate of that, but at a lower instance of the bass would sound good. It may or may not, but we try it and see. So I've basically duplicated that bass, done a version lower down the octave. Yeah, possibly. Okay, so we've got two options. Let's take that bass out. In fact, let's listen to all three options. I mean, there's a million options, but in fact, let's listen to 4 options. When that breakdown happens there, we've got 4 noises going on here. The first noise is this. Okay. The next noise, it's all just noise. God, that's what the old buggers used to say. So the next one would be this. Okay, then we've got the bass, which is like this. And then we've got a lower instance of the bass, which is this. Let's put them all together. That one, and that one I want, that one I want, that bass, that stab, and then just see what it sounds like for now. So I'm just going to reduce I'm going to play with the volumes on some of these. And it's all about just listening to it and see what you think. I mean, the pattern is really cheesy. It's like reminds me of is it Happy Tracks, like a DJ Vibes type thing. So you can hear it's all sort of put together with these rave sounds, and then we're going to build it up. What you can do, I mean, you can start off with just that and then put the other one in. And introduce those. You can see how it's coming together. So that's what I've been messing around with. I'm going to go away, I'm going to play around with it, come up with something. So we've got the first 32 bars that we did on the last one. We're going to do the second 32 bars today. And I'm going to build it up, and then we'll deal with what happens when it actually kicks in and all the piano crazy synth madness happens. So what we've got so far is this. I'm just building it up and building it up. A lot of the time with tunes, it's a case of coming up with some riffs and then deciding at what point to take things in and out. When do you bring the drums in? When do you bring the bass in? When do you take it out? So this little bit here, we've got we've got here we go. So it'll be something like that. We can play around with that as much as we like, and often when I'm making a tune it will evolve all the time. So what I do think needs to happen in here to bring the tune along a little bit is some drums to come in, and I'm thinking the hi-hat that we had from earlier. So this is where I am for now. I'm going to park that here because it's in the middle of the night and I'm tired, and I think you've got more than enough to go away and come up with something that you like and that works for you. It's all about working out what you like in terms of the build-ups, the patterns and things like that. This is where I am. I am going to do you a little bit of a playthrough, see what you think so far, go away, start making some bloody music, and we'll continue next time. Hope that's been helpful. I've enjoyed making that. Hopefully we might come up with a nice little happy hardcore tune out of this, something we're just doing on the fly, and hopefully it'll be something that you enjoy. I'm DJ HH. I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. If you've enjoyed it, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and hopefully we can keep the happy hardcore vibe alive.